Welcome back, guys. It's been a long time coming. We've been off for a little while. We've been meaning to get this rolling again, but kind of been lazy about it. But now we're finally back. Created a YouTube channel. So we're going to start uploading some stuff on there. So I'm your host, Justin Henson, and my boys, Tyler Watermuth and Jake Fraker. What's up, guys?
What up, bro?
Yeah.
So Tyler is a Miami fan, but you're kind of reeling right now. I mean, had a run in the March Madness. Baseball team is up, and they
Number
just swept a very good Virginia team, a couple weeks ago, last weekend.
Last weekend, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, your Dolphins down there making moves. Cristobal, he don't seem like a no bullshit kind of guy.
Just sold out the spring training game. Like that never happens in Miami. So
Yeah. Then you got Jake, Alabama fan. We know about that. We don't need to spend no time on that. No, but Nick, he's wrecking the transfer portal down there, ain't he?
Hey, I mean, he warned them when they started it. He warned them what they were getting in for. He tried to tell them. They didn't listen. He keeps warning them every year. This is what with NIL and the transfer portal. This is what recruiting and the transfer portal is going to be like. It's pretty much free agency for Nick. He's going to get whoever he wants. And this is probably his biggest haul this year. We lost a lot, and he went and got the best running back in the portal, the best defensive player and cornerback in the portal, the best receiver in the portal. Just got a stud in Tyler Steen from Vanderbilt, and it's looking like Tyler Harrell from Louisville is going to commit to us as well. It's been reported that he may be the fastest player in college football. So,
Speed kills.
Is Bill O'Brien still there?
Yes, he's still our OC.
Okay. I didn't know if he left to the Patriots or not. And then I saw where the Patriots were like, oh, we don't have any titles. Like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, I don't think the Patriots have hired an OC yet that I've seen.
Bill Belichick said he's having no titles. Like Matt Patricia's going to be – that was weird to me. Matt Patricia's going to be helping with the offense and Joe Judge. Those were special team defensive guys. So
I love having a guy that calls a quarterback sneak on – 3rd and 10 as my OC.
Yeah.
OC.
That, oh my God.
But anyways, all right, we're going to talk a little college football today. I wish it was tomorrow. I wish it started tomorrow, but.
Oh yeah, I wish it was in September.
No kidding. So we're going to talk about new coaching hires, who we think can succeed, who we think is going to fail, in between there. Where y'all guys want to start?
Well, you got to start with the big names. So
you want to start with Lincoln Riley?
Yeah, start with Lincoln Riley. This is the one Fraker will disagree with me wholeheartedly, but I do think that Lincoln Riley will have success in California for a multiple of reasons. You see that top quarterback talent wants to play with him. It happens whether it's during the transfer portal or it's recruits. Now, it may not have worked out with Spencer Rattler, but he had Caleb Williams join him at USC. A lot of the top quarterbacks come from that California area. USC hasn't been relevant the past years. Now that they got Lincoln Riley, who's like quote unquote quarterback guru, they're going to be in a running every year for one of the best quarterbacks in California. You already saw Malachi Nelson commit to him. NIL, going to be a big deal out there. It's appealing to play for this big brand in USC. And the conference is weak. I know you got Utah. I know you got Oregon. But those guys.
It's stronger than the Big 12.
It is stronger than the Big 12. I will say that. But I think NIL, you got to think about it. What 18-year-old kid doesn't want to be in Los Angeles, make a ton of money if you get an NIL deal, and play with a coach who has experience, whether, it's good or bad, depending on the conference he used to be in. He's been in the college football playoff. Yes, he's lost some games that he should have won, particularly the Rose Bowl against Georgia. They should have won that game. But with the conference that they're in, I think you can see a lot of big names start to stay in California. Because I think personally, Oregon was really good at recruiting the California area under Cristobal. Dan Lanning, great recruiter. I think that a lot of those kids would stay home at USC before they go to Oregon now because of Lincoln Riley. I really do.
I don't know. I mean, I agree he's going to be successful, but he was successful to Oklahoma to an extent. But he's not doing anything at USC right now that he wasn't doing at Oklahoma. He got Malachi Nelson. Well, he was committed to Oklahoma. He got Caleb Williams. Well, he brought him to Oklahoma. I mean, I just don't. I mean, yeah, I think he's going to do well and better than Clay Helton, but I don't see he's still going to lose games like he shouldn't, like he lost to Kansas State at times and Iowa State and games like that. I mean, if it wasn't for Caleb Williams pulling shit out of his ass, they would have lost to Kansas last year.
Yeah, they would have.
I mean, there is not an Oregon in the Big 12. There's not a Utah in the Big 12. And I don't know, Dan Lanning getting Jordan James from Georgia, plucking him, stealing him from Tennessee, that really shows a lot. I think Dan Lanning's going to recruit well. Like I said, I don't think that Lincoln's going to do bad. I think it's a major upgrade from Helton, but I don't know that he's going to be any better than he was at Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Because Oklahoma, he can pretty much get whoever he wants there as well.
Yeah,
he's going to be in California, so you're going to get some kids that want to stay close to home. But like I said, I have to see him win the big games, and also not lose the small games that he should never even make close games.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, you saying he's doing everything that he's done at Oklahoma, so if that correlates to USC, they're in the college football playoff, winning the conference every year.
Well, possibly, but
if you're a USC fan, you're taking that.
I mean, yes, but then no, the Big 12 has no defense. Like he's gonna have to play Utah. He's gonna have to play Oregon. They have defense. Like it's gonna be different. That's like I said, he could take off and he could be amazing. I just want to see. I want to see if he's able to handle those defenses and handle that talent. Because you're not. Like I said, you're not playing Kansas anymore. You're not playing Texas Tech anymore. These are some real football teams out there.
Yeah, I think with Lincoln, him plucking a few guys from Oklahoma that's been with him for a while, I think that's going to help a lot. I mean, California, they produce so much talent. And with Lincoln Riley being, like I say, quarterback guru, a good coach, he should have no problem recruiting that state whatsoever. He should run that state. Yeah, USC should always run that state, no doubt. But I was looking around. I was researching some stuff today at Athlon Sports. I was looking at their grade hires for these new coaches and stuff, and they have Lincoln Riley A+, which I think we could probably all agree with that.
Yeah, I think it's a great hire.
I agree with it too.
I don't know that they could have made a better hire. So I'm not sold. Like a lot of people think that, Saban move over, Kirby move over, Dabo move over. Like I don't agree with that. I think he was right there, right below them, and I think he's still right where he was. But he's gonna have to prove me something till I say, okay, here you are.
Yeah, but that program needed it. I mean, under Clay Helton, like he should have been fired a long time ago. And the fact that they were able to pull enough money to go take him away from Oklahoma, because you got to think about, like, he had everything he wanted at Oklahoma. They probably could have even gave him more money, and he took the USC job. And partially, I think it's because, like Fraker said, he's going to be in the big boy leagues. And this is where we get later down in this conversation about Brent Venables, how I'm like 50-50 with him, because Oklahoma is going to the SEC. They're with the big boys, and we've seen them play with the big boys under Lincoln and fall short. So that's probably a very, whether he says it or not, that is a big reason why he went. And I think it was reported that he was not happy that Oklahoma was joining the SEC.
Yeah, so I think he was against it.
Yeah, he was.
Against it. And like now, obviously, if they make a run, they have one loss. They're from the Big 12. There's a good chance they get snubbed. They get snubbed from the playoff. But he's moving up just a little bit. People think about the Pac-12 a little bit better. He's not in the SEC. He's not going to get beat up on, but he's in the Pac-12, where if he has one loss to Oregon, they're still going to make the playoff.
Yeah. Yeah, especially if they're dominating teams like they were at Oklahoma. They're putting up a bunch of points and they're winning games. And then if they lose a game to Utah or Oregon, but still win the conference championship, that will hold more weight than the previous years where Oregon or Utah wins the conference championship, but they have 2 or 3 losses.
And the NCAA is also about money. And I'm telling you, they're not going to keep a one-loss USC out of the playoff. It's not going to happen. That will never happen.
Yeah.
You mentioned Dan Lanning earlier. Let's jump to Oregon. How y'all feel about this?
I'll let him go first.
Yeah, I like Dan Lanning. I don't like I know Tyler's not crazy about it, but I don't think it's a big difference. The Dan Lanning hire and the Mario Cristobal hire a couple years ago, I don't think there's a big difference. They you can say Dan Lanning doesn't have any head coaching experience. Well, Mario Cristobal didn't really have much either. But there was one thing you could say about Mario is he could recruit. He could recruit, and he come up under a great recruiter and a great coach. That was Mario's thing. Well, that's the same situation with Dan Lanning. The main thing is going to be with Dan. You know that they're going to have a good defense. They're already loaded talent-wise on defense. It's just going to be what can he do on offense? The offensive lines that he surrounds himself with. I mean, that makes a defensive coach.
I don't like their offense. The guy that they hired for offense coordinator was Florida State's coordinator, and they had some issues on offense with him being the offense coordinator. Yes, I know they did beat Miami, whatever, but their offense literally stunk, and it was very like vanilla, and it fits why Lanning would bring him in, because I think he has prior work with that guy. I think his name's Dillingham.
Yeah, Kelly.
Kenny Dillingham.
Kenny.
So Dan Lanning, I know he's going to be able to recruit, but I've seen time after time again, you have coaches that recruit really well, but they don't, like Butch Jones recruited really well, but they're not good in-game coaches, not good at making adjustments, whatever you want to say. I do think, I agree with you, the defensive side of the ball is going to look good for Oregon because Mario helped build that defense too. And I think they're going to continue to get good edge rushers and good linebackers and be physical. Like Dan Lanning, the physicality at Oregon is still going to be the same. Like, so I do like that. It's just the offense, and like they don't have Chip Kelly anymore. They don't have what's his name, Mark Helfrich. That was his name, the coach that. Like they don't have those offenses that are very memorable. Even when they had Justin Herbert, it really wasn't that memorable of an offense.
Well, but my thing is the guards are kind of changing. It's crazy how it used to be the SEC was known for the good defenses, the best defenses, and the Pac-12 was more of a offensive league. Whereas now you really see the Pac-12 kind of moving towards defense, and the SEC's offenses are absolutely insane now. Which they still have good defenses, don't get me wrong, but SEC is really pumping the offense up.
Yeah, it's just with Dan Lanning, like I just feel like he's limited. Like, yes, they have financial resources, they got top tier facilities. It's just like it's hard to recruit kids, and I think he'll recruit a lot, but it's going to be hard to get a lot of kids excited to go to Eugene, Oregon. Like that was the issue Mario had. Like, yes, he recruited well, but like you missed out on a bunch of good talent that just because they were in Eugene, Oregon. And so I think he's good recruiter, first time head coach. He's young. There'll be a lot of energy, and I think there's going to be the right financial backing. But if I see it the way I'm seeing it, I think Oregon will be there for a little bit, but I think USC will take the brass horn and dominate the Pac-12. I really do.
I don't know. I think he's going to have. I think he's going to have a pretty good year one just because of what he's got. I think, like I said, I think he's got a great defense to work with. He brought in Bo Nix, and I mean, Bo Nix is a Pac-12 quarterback. I mean, I think Bo Nix
He's got experience.
And I think he's bound to have the whole run around thing. That's all Pac-12. I think he's going to have some success over there. Like I said, Jordan James is to me. If you go watch his highlights, he's a plug-in true freshman. Go run the ball. He's a stud at running back. Don't know if I haven't looked at their spring practices or what he's doing, if he's even enrolled yet. But I mean, I don't know. I think Oregon's going to do well. I don't think there's going to be much difference between him and Cristobal. Cristobal just didn't knock it out of the park at Oregon. You know what I mean? And he didn't have Lincoln to play against.
Yeah.
So he just had Utah.
Yeah.
So, but I think it's going to be similar. I don't know that he's going to just be amazing, but I think they'll win games. I think they'll beat USC from time to time. I think they'll be in the Pac-12 contention, like Oregon belongs.
I don't think this higher because what Oregon, their whole issue when Mario left was like, we loved Mario, good recruiter, whatever, but he couldn't get us to the national championship level. Like, I don't think Dan Lanning is the guy who puts you over into national championship contention. But long term, maybe. It's hard for me to buy into some of these guys. I feel like some of these guys who are great recruiters and probably are well deserving of the job go to a program like at Oregon where the expectations are already so high, and then you don't give him enough time to build his program, and then he's 40-ounce bounce. So if they give him enough time, I could see it. But right now, I'm not too sold on the Dan Lanning hire.
Not trying to be disrespectful. That's exactly how I feel about Mario. at Miami. I think Dan Lennon and Mario are a lot similar.
Mhm.
I think Mario's a good coach. I think Mario is going to have success everywhere he goes, but it's going to be limited. I just don't think that I don't think that he's a national championship winning coach.
I think what that limited success won't, because I know we'll get to Mario, is better than Miami's had since 03. So you have,
I agree.
you have to get what you can get. So
I
I
agree.
want to go back to USC real quick. Yes or no? Does Lincoln Riley make the playoffs year one?
No.
no.
Okay.
I see
Not
it going 10-2 because I think they play, if I'm not mistaken, their hardest games at Utah. I think it's at Utah, and Utah's a tough environment to go into and win. Like,
I
you saw what
agree.
they did to Oregon. You saw what they did to Oregon. So I think New Year's Six Rose Bowl type game, Lincoln Riley. That's a good year for USC because when's the last time they went to one of those big bowl games that got blown out by Ohio State in the Cotton Bowl?
When Sam Darnold took them to the Rose Bowl.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, they beat Penn State in the Rose Bowl, and the next year they got drilled
Yeah.
by Ohio State in the Cotton Bowl. So
Yeah.
No, I don't think they go to the playoff. I think Caleb Williams has a lot of maturing to do. I know everybody's crazy about Caleb Williams, but a lot of the plays that he made at Oklahoma, he pulled athleticism out of his ass and went and made a play. But I don't think that he's just some NFL ready, amazing quarterback. And I think, like I said, teams like Utah and Oregon are going to kind of expose that, whereas they just don't play. There's no defense in the Big 12.
Yeah, that Texas game last year really put him
that,
on the map, but
that doesn't happen. Like that Texas game does not happen it doesn't happen in the Big 10. It doesn't happen in the SEC. It doesn't happen in the Pac-12. Like that doesn't happen.
no, it don't. I mean, he's right. So, because like what Fraker said, the reason why we saw Oklahoma every year in the playoffs with one loss against like a bad team was because it's a business. We understand it's a business. You're not going to put a one-loss Oklahoma team. You're not going to not put them in the playoff, especially with where the Pac-12 was. So, yeah, I think that the name helped them, and that's what but I don't think year one. I think it'll be growing pains, like for sure. Like the tougher competition will definitely show.
Well, speaking of Oklahoma, let's make our way to Brent Venables.
This is the most fascinating hire to me because love his energy.
Mhm.
That hire was probably the best hire Oklahoma could make to prepare them for what they're entering into.
Oh yeah, it's definitely
100%.
it's at least a 5-year commitment.
Yeah,
Has to be.
The thing with Brent Venables that makes me, and I love the staff he put together, getting the OC from Ole Miss, that was huge.
That's huge.
And like Dylan Gabriel is going to be all right at Oklahoma because between the American and the Big 12, there's really no difference in my opinion.
Yeah.
No, not defensively.
Yeah. And so I think he'll be fine. The thing with Brent Venables is out of all these coaches that got hired, I don't see it happening, but I wouldn't be shocked if he's the first one to be let go at his new job because of the pressure and the turnaround, because he has to get that program to where he wants in 2 years before they go into the SEC. And you don't know what side of the conference they're going to be in. Like, I don't know if they're going to do realignment or whatever, but the SEC West could be Texas A&M, Oklahoma, Bama, Mississippi State, Ole Miss, LSU, Auburn, and who else am I forgetting? Like, regardless, that's a loaded side. That is like the group of death, like in soccer. Like
I think they'll definitely bless them, and they will move Alabama and Auburn to the east.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think it'd be Oklahoma and Texas in the West. But he's been at Oklahoma before. I think he's fit for the job, but I just think the pressure and like the expectations, because Oklahoma's been national championship picture, and you got to keep them in that picture in this window, and then you guys prove like, hey, we can compete with the Bamas, the Georgias, the LSUs, and they got to do that weekly. And I just think it's going to be some very raw growing pains year one in the SEC, where this Oklahoma team could be 11-1, 12-0, go to the SEC and start being 8-4, 9-3. Are they going to be patient enough with them? But that defense, Oklahoma this defense will be night and day difference. And the defense alone, no matter who he hires at offensive coordinator, because Levy's probably going to end up getting a bigger job at some point, will keep them in ball games. And I think Oklahoma's always recruited well. It's just like one of those things. If I see him be super duper successful, wouldn't shock me. But if it was like a failure, it wouldn't shock me. Obviously, I want to see him be successful because more competition in SEC is a good thing. Like we're tired of seeing Georgia and Bama. If we could get Oklahoma to a level where they one year win the conference, like that'd be great. Like I would love some parity.
Yeah. I have faith in him just because he's gonna get a 2-year cushion before he goes. He's gonna get 2 years to beat up on the Big 12. Now he is gonna have Sark in Texas, coming down his throat because they are getting better every year. They're recruiting better. He's hiring better coaches. So I mean, Texas is going to be relevant this year. I firmly believe that. But besides that, I mean, besides Texas, there's honestly no reason to lose another game.
Yeah,
Baylor and Matt Aranda, but that's pretty much just straight off. Matt Aranda is a good coach, or Dave Aranda, not Matt Aranda.
Yeah.
Dave Aranda. But Dave Aranda is a really good coach. But I mean, he's not recruiting worth a shit.
No.
He's just taking good athletes from Texas and making them a decent ball team. That should never be a loss. Kansas State should not be a loss. Kansas should not be a loss. Texas Tech should not be a loss.
Iowa State should not be a loss.
Oh yeah. So I think the first 2 years you get a good cushion. If he can win 10 games each year, then you go into the SEC, and if you win 8 or 9, I don't think the seat's hot. I think it's understood. And like I said, if they realign it where they move Alabama and Auburn to the east, that side gets a lot more welcoming for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But you're still gonna have to play Arkansas and A&M. And like I said, I think Arkansas is gonna be something to deal with. Sam Pittman's a good coach, and he's doing a lot in Arkansas.
Yeah,
so,
it's a gauntlet for sure. It's just he's primed to succeed, but if anyone's quote unquote set up to fail, him and Marcus Freeman are probably the two that stick out to me that are set up to fail.
Yeah, I like the Venables. I just like his staff he built. He's pulled a lot of guys. He's brought some guys from Clemson, guys from Oklahoma staying, and some of his other coordinators and stuff, they're SEC guys. I think he's plucked somebody from Alabama, Vanderbilt.
Yeah,
I
think
and they know the area. And they know what's in store.
Yeah, getting Jeff Levy was huge because no one's like Oklahoma's used to explosive offense. Would get Levy, who if you look at Ole Miss's tape, they're not really all slinging it down. They like to run the football too. And that if you run the football, it doesn't matter what the conference you play in. If you run the football well, got good O-line and can run the football, you could compete at any level, like any conference. So
I agree. I said I like the Venables hire. I think it's a great hire. I do think he's going to have some competition, but I think you're seeing the competition level across college football raise.
Yeah,
I think that Nick Saban, Dabo Swinney, and Kirby Smart are creating that.
Mm-hmm.
All these colleges are starting to pour more money into their programs, especially NIL, because they have to.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, you're going to let them control football.
Yeah.
Like I said, you go look 5 years ago. 5 years ago, the SEC wasn't even challenging.
Yeah.
Arkansas didn't really have a coach. A&M, Kevin Sumlin was working his way out. I mean, now, dude, the head coaches in the SEC right now across the board is insane. I mean, besides you've got, Auburn has a joke head coach right now.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Leach. He's a good coach. He's just going to Mike Leach at least 3 times a year.
Yeah.
And Clark Lee, Vanderbilt they're doing what they can. I don't understand why they can't do anything. I really don't understand why some money can't be put into Vanderbilt to make them better. But besides that, the SEC overall is just, dude, the coaches are insane. It's never been like this, not talent-wise from top to bottom.
I mean, you think about some of the bottom tier coaches and the SEC, and they would be great coaches in different conferences. Like,
oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, I know you're not too high on Napier, but Napier would have been a home run hire for any other program. Like,
no, I love Napier. I don't love his situation. I like him as a coach.
That's what I was going to bring up next. Let's stay in the SEC and let's talk about the 2 coaches in Napier, and then we'll get on to Brian Kelly later.
Yeah.
I like Napier. I think he's a good guy. He's a Sabanite, obviously. Saban was always really high on him. He did a lot in Louisiana. That team's never won until he was there. That's impressive. But he's just in a really, really, really rough situation. Because
I would have liked to see him go to LSU instead of Florida, but
because he had built ties in Louisiana.
mm-hmm.
He had a firm foundation in Louisiana, and I just don't know that he has anything in Florida. He hasn't. I mean, he got some transfers from his previous college. That's not amazing, you know. He
Staff
has
is
no
okay.
he has no defense to work with.
It's going to be a rough
Yeah,
couple years.
I just think it's going to be rough for him. I think he's just in a really, really steep predicament, and it's the SEC. I think that's what Dan Mullen dealt with. That's what Muschamp dealt with before. Dan Mullen was able to put together an offense, and he could have made it. If it wasn't for Alabama, Dan Mullen would be in a national championship game the year before last.
Yeah.
But he's without a job 2 years later because that's how the SEC works at times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, McElwain had success early too, and then so I like Napier a lot, and I've sit here and I've thought about it because I initially on my initial tweet that kind of started this conversation, I thought he would succeed, and then I started thinking about the exteriors, and I'm like, okay, I'm more like I let my judgment of me liking him and thinking he's a good coach cloud the fact what situation he's been dealt with. Because another thing you have to think about is he's a good recruiter. He's competing with Mario Cristobal in Florida. And I hate to break it to you, Billy, but I think Mario is going to out recruit you in his home state. I just do.
Yeah. He's also competing against Nick Saban, Kirby, and Dabo because Nick Saban has owned the state of Florida for 10 years.
And then you also got to, and then I forgot to think about this too, but if they do realignment in the SEC, now they have to play Bama and Auburn every year. And that SEC East, which has been the weakest side of the conference, gets tremendously tough with Georgia and Alabama and Auburn. They're in Tennessee. Who knows where they're going to be with hype or whatever. But if they keep on getting recruits and stuff like that, and if they can learn how to put 4 quarters of football together, I mean,
can we just make football the first quarter and that's it, please?
I swear, as a betting human being who loves to bet on sports, I would always lick my lips at Tennessee's first quarter over point. Lick my lips because they go down, score 3 possessions, 21 points in like 3 minutes or whatever. And then next thing you know, I look at the score. Oh, Tennessee lost 35-28 or something like that. I'm like, dang. But yeah, Billy Napier has a tough situation. I didn't fully think about it because, like I said, I was at work and these were just coming to my head. And I was like, yeah, it's going to be tough. And so I'm rooting for him, but I've kind of switched my stance on him. I think that he's going to be one of those guys that kind of was fed to the wolves, has to go back to like a smaller school, and then he'll go to the right fit and thrive. That's how I see his career going.
More so look at just the first year schedule. They open up against Utah.
Yep.
And they have Kentucky second. South Florida should be a win. Then they have Tennessee fourth. So they're looking at a possible 1-3 start.
Yeah.
They have LSU. They have Georgia, A&M, South Carolina. They should beat Vanderbilt, and they have Florida State. So they could possibly be a 3-4 win team this year, and they did good.
Yeah. And you got Florida's not patient. They're not a patient bunch.
No, not at all.
So changed my mind on that for sure.
He said, I do like him, and I do think he can have possible success in the long run, like you said, if they're patient.
Yeah.
But I don't know that they will be. He's really going to have to turn the recruiting up and fast.
Yeah, he will.
All right, stay in the SEC. Let's go to the West. Yeah, let's go to the West, down to LSU, Mr. Brian Kelly.
He'll get laughed out of Baton Rouge.
This is out of all the big name hires, I grade this one like the lowest. I still give it because he's won everywhere he's went, but I don't think it's a Cristobal to Miami, Lincoln Riley to USC, home run, A+ type hire. I think it's like a C hire because I think he'll win games, but he has not been through a gauntlet of, okay, we play Arkansas, turn around next week, play Mississippi State at Mississippi State, hostile environment. Turn around, they play Auburn. Turn around, got to play Bama. Like the turnaround in these games, whereas how Notre Dame's schedule was, yeah, the past few years they've played a little bit tougher competition, but they had breaks in between. So they would play a Clemson, then they'll go beat up on UMass and Virginia, like stuff like that. The schedule, even the lower teams like A&M, not A&M, but like Mississippi State's going to give them a hell of a fight.
Mhm.
Arkansas, hell of a fight. Ole Miss, hell of a fight. I mean, I don't see, and I personally, as a recruit, if I saw that video of him dancing with Walker, I would not even consider LSU. I wouldn't. He's a cornball. He's fake. He's not very authentic with the faking the accent or whatever. And as a kid, I'm 24, so we're a little bit older school, but we care about authenticity. Like it's easier to play for someone who's authentically them. And we're like Mike Leach, it's easy to play for him because you know what he is. He's not going to change or anything. This guy is literally trying to fit in, but he sticks out like a sore thumb. He's like, where's Waldo? But you can easily point him out. And I just don't think he will be able to recruit the Louisiana area well. I think this frees up Saban to kind of put a stranglehold on that state well. Like, I don't think he'll be able to keep recruits there, but I get why he took the job. He's like, he believes in himself. Props to him for going to the SEC, and him probably thinking with his track record and no academic like standard for his recruits, he thinks he'll probably have success. And he's, for a long-term contract, I think he's the first one to get fired.
Oh yeah, I agree. That's
100%.
The hire doesn't make sense to me from an LSU standpoint. I think it makes sense for Brian Kelly. I don't think shit was sweet at Notre Dame. I think he was on his way out anyways. I think they were loving some Marcus Freeman. The players obviously were loving some Marcus Freeman. And at the LSU thing makes no sense because Les Miles got fired for one reason. He couldn't beat Alabama.
Yeah.
Bill Orgeron got fired for mainly one reason. That's because he lost to Alabama every year but one.
Yeah.
I mean, and they just went and hired a coach who historically the games that he's played against Alabama just gets drummed. Like got beat by 42 in a national championship game. I mean, the guy can't. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. That's the archetype in the West. That is why you hire coaches in the West, is to try to beat Saban.
Yeah.
Les Miles, Jimbo Fisher. That is why you do it. And you just go in left field and go hire somebody who, I mean, just is proven that he can't do that.
Yeah.
He's proven that he doesn't win big games, and you might as well hire a MAC coach, because that's what the Notre Dame is, besides playing one or two big games a year.
And I mean, you got to think about it. You look at his track record. Cincinnati, he lost against Florida, like big game. I mean, I know he was on his way out, gets embarrassed by Alabama, gets embarrassed by Clemson in the college football playoff. They finally beat Clemson. What happens in the ACC championship? Trevor Lawrence is healthy.
Turns around and
beat them. They helped, like I give them a little bit of credit. They played Bama better than I ever thought they would the last time they played them.
Yeah.
But I mean, you look like, I don't see, the only signature win I see is against Clemson at home, COVID year, no Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, they beat DJ Uiagalelei, and look what he's done.
Yeah.
Nothing.
I mean, he might not even be the starter.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like you said, I'm not crazy about the Brian Kelly.
And it's not a patient bunch. I would understand making that move to the SEC if you had a bunch that was patient, willing to give you time, willing to build your program. But you got to think about it. He's older. I mean, he's in his 60s. He's not really relatable. I mean, this has a recipe for disaster, and we all three could be wrong. And he goes out and proves us wrong. But his thing is, they brought him in to win a national championship, and nothing about his track record other than playing in national championships or college football playoff games makes me think that they will make it there. In my opinion, I think they'd be lucky to even go to an SEC championship.
No, I think LSU deserves this, because there's no reason they ever fired Edo. He won you a national championship 2 years ago. Was competitive this year. I mean, no, they didn't win a crazy bunch of games. They didn't have a quarterback, and it's really hard to do that.
And they
I mean,
lost
It
a
was.
lot of talent. You got
I
to think
mean,
about it. It's hard to turn over when you lose that much talent.
same thing
everybody-
that happened with Gene Chizik too.
Yeah.
Yeah, which Gene Chizik, it became very obvious that was Cam Newton and Gus Malzahn that got them there. They were getting blown out. But LSU wasn't getting blown out this year. They were getting beat. Hell, Alabama was the game was close. I was there. And then their defense was pretty impressive. Their offense wasn't bad. They just needed some weapons. They needed a quarterback. I mean,
you got to think about too what he did for that program. The LSU that we grew up watching, what were they? Under center, pitch straight back to the back. He did the perfect CEO thing. I'm gonna go hire guys that brings modern football. He hires a Joe Brady. I know his offensive coordinator, but you know what they did straight away? They kept a modern day football system, and it made, regardless of the success, it made more kids be inclined to go there. Because if you think about back in the years, if you play under Les Miles, a top receiver may not want to go there because he's just going to be blocking 90% of the
time. Those he's a Louisiana man. Those fans and players would die for him. I mean, they love him. He's not a cornball. He is legit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like his staffs were good. You got to think about too, from his staff, you lost Joe Brady to the NFL. You lost Dave Aranda to Baylor. You lost a lot of coaches on that staff because of the 1 year that he elevated LSU and they won the national championship. And I really feel bad for Coach O. I think he was given the short end of the stick. He ended up being the scapegoat. But that's the type of people that are in Louisiana, and that's the type of people that Brian Kelly's not going to be able to please. Like,
no, it's the same thing with Auburn. I mean, no, Gus didn't go win a national championship, but Auburn had no business running Gus out of town, and now they've got a clown. I mean, he kept the Alabama game close last year. Don't get me wrong, but that's the Alabama Auburn game. You can't judge a coach's talent off of that game. That game will 9 out of 10 times be close, and then 1 year it'll be a 50-point game, but usually it's close.
And the thing with Auburn, you got those boosters down there that want to run the program and stuff. So
the boosters in Auburn are terrible, and it's the same way in LSU. Mm-hmm. I promise you, the majority of the fans didn't want Ed O going, but those boosters were reeling off that national championship, the feeling, and I get it because I mean that was a very electric national championship. The team, the vibe, Joe Burrow, the swagger the team had, it was insane. I mean, they arguably beat one of the better Alabama teams in history. I mean, that Alabama team was nuts. Didn't even make the playoff because Tua got hurt. But that game, that was the national championship. That game was amazing. Mm-hmm. The Alabama LSU game that year was amazing, and it gets slept on. But no, I think it's sad that happens now. But it's everybody sees what Saban and now Kirby can do, how they can lose talent and plug it back every year, and they think every coach should be like that.
Yeah. It's just not possible.
You can't compare to Saban ever. Yeah. And honestly, you can't compare to Kirby.
No, you can't.
Because he stayed under him for 10 years. I mean, he knows how to. I don't think Kirby is Saban by any means, but they are definitely they're the top two. And
he's the closest product that Saban's ever made, close to Saban.
They're the top two, and everybody else is not even close right now.
From watching stuff about Kirby Smart, it doesn't shock me the reason why he has success. He can plug in talent over and over again is because I've watched videos of him, and I haven't played football in so long. I would run through a wall for Kirby Smart, and that's the thing right there. Like Nick Saban's players would run through a wall for him. Like it's impressive what Kirby's done. Congratulations to Georgia finally winning a national championship. But yeah, the Brian Kelly thing makes zero sense. And his predecessor, we should go back up to Notre Dame because I don't think he will be that good either. So
I think he is just because who he gets to play, man.
But Notre Dame's level of success ain't that anymore. Like if he's not making it to the college football playoff, I think he's going to get a short leash. Because
they've only done it. They've only made the playoff twice.
Yeah, but that's their expectation now. So
once you've been there a couple times, you expect to be there, or your fans expect you to keep going.
The thing about the Marcus Freeman guy, he could be a great coach, good recruiter, all this stuff. the academic restrictions always going to hold Notre Dame back. Say what you want to say. It's always going to hold them back.
I think that's the same way with Vanderbilt too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't really understand. Dude, you go look at a lot of these big time players. Dude, their GPA is great.
Yeah.
Their grades are good. A lot of these guys, they're not dummies.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't understand that aspect of it. I do think that the Notre Dame's going to be headed to the ACC soon. I do think
they have to. They have to.
It's going to have to happen.
They didn't vote the college football playoff expansion yet, but it's coming. And Notre Dame, it's a business. College football is a business. I think it'd be to a point where NCAA will intervene, be like, you have to join a conference, because Notre Dame, they're easily a top 4 recognizable big brand college football. They're going to sell tickets, because they're national. They're national because their games, you always get to see their games. They got fans all across the country. But the Marcus Freeman guy, I know it's one game and it was his first game, but the choke job to Oklahoma State will always sit in my head. And that's kind of what I'm going to see Notre Dame in big games, still not be able to get it done.
I don't think there's going to be much difference between Brian Kelly and Marcus Freeman.
It's probably going to be the same, but I'm looking at these places. They made the hires for obviously one thing. They want to compete for national championships. Don't think Marcus Freeman's the guy that helps you win your first playoff game. I don't.
I think that's unrealistic for Notre Dame, because before Brian Kelly, Charlie Weiss, they weren't good. They did decent when they had Brady Quinn and Jeff Samardzija, but before that, the boys weren't good. They haven't been good since the 80s. I don't know. A lot of these colleges are just going to have to realize that you're not going to, everybody can't go to the playoff.
Yeah.
You got to stop this college. The turnover in head coaching has never been like this.
No, it hasn't.
The last 10 years.
It's definitely because of the playoff, and it sucks. And whether it's fair or not, that's just the time we're in now.
It's crazy.
But it's what would you call it success? They make the playoff every other year. What would
at least
I don't know.
I would
say make the playoff. That's the thing, especially if they go to the ACC. And
I would say New Year's Six bowls.
Yeah,
you would think.
To me, right now, to me, if my team can win 8 to 10 games every now and then, always make a bowl game, and maybe we make the playoff, then right now that's good. Until Saban retires, that is realistic for everybody. I
agree with that completely.
When he walks away from the game, things are going to change a lot.
Yeah.
But until he walks away from the game, it is not realistic to think that you're supposed to win your conference and get in the playoff every year. Yeah. You've got to be happy with bowl games. You've got to be happy with 8 to 9, 10 win seasons. Or you're just going to keep doing this carousel every year, on and on and on.
And miss out on a guy who potentially was the guy, but because you were impatient.
Yes, yeah, and that's going to happen. It's definitely going to happen.
Yeah, 100%. But
I'm
just not big on the guy. First time head coach at a big program. I just think he's kind of set up to fail.
You're in that you're going to have hires like Willie Taggart.
Yeah,
Willie Taggart has no business coaching at Florida State or Oregon.
He is the best con man I've seen in college football. The amount of money that he has made has been absolutely incredible. So I give him props for that. But he belongs where he's at right now, FAU. He belongs there.
Well, let's stay down there in Florida with your boys, Tyler.
Oh, dude, gosh.
If you don't follow Tyler on Twitter, go follow him. What is it? Tyler Joshua?
@ Tyler Joshua.
Go follow him if you want all your Miami scoop.
Don't follow me if you want to. If you get annoyed fast, because I am a annoying Miami Hurricane fan.
Every time I open up Twitter, I see "Go Canes." Go Canes.
Go Canes. Go
Canes.
You love them though.
I do. Yeah, I think I love him more than if I had a child right now. I would love him more than my firstborn. So, but anyways, this is the hire. If you remember one of our first ever podcasts, I said what happened.
Yeah.
I said, and
I told you you were hilarious.
Yeah, you did.
I told you no chance. That's stupid. No chance.
But Fraker hit the nail on the head earlier when we were talking about this. you have to finally start spending money. These programs are finally going to have to start spending money. Miami is spending the most money they've ever spent, ever, even when they were winning national championships. And they spend it on administration as well. And just since we've had the AD, we saw a turnaround in our basketball program, both men and women. Our baseball, they were talking about firing our baseball coach. They're the number 2 team in the country today. Got a good track and field team, always have a good diving team, good tennis team. No one cares about that. We care about football. I get that. But when you have the common denominator at the Alabamas, the Georgias, the Clemsons for a very long time, good administration. Miami finally has a competent administration. This is the one team out of all the guys that will get the adequate amount of time, and it won't be Rush. It will be Cristobal. They are fully committed to him because he's one of their own, and he has the financial backing that no other Miami coach has had. They're already talking about building new facilities. This one that they're talking about will be up there with a caliber. It won't be better than SEC's, but it's going to be a SEC quality. Like, they won't have the amount, but it's going to be a SEC quality because Miami didn't even have an indoor practice facility until Mark Richt donated $1 million out of his own pocket. So thank you, Mark Richt. Good Christian man, Mark Richt. You deserve props for that. So they're committed to that. The rumors of them building a stadium, I still think it's just a rumor, but if they get that done, that's going to be huge. And whether he's a national championship contending coach, it's yet to be seen, but he has won conference championships. Miami hasn't. They've only been in one conference championship since joining the ACC. So my realistic expectations is exactly what Fraker said. If we can win consistently 8, 9, 10 games a year, maybe win the conference every 3 years, and even get one college football playoff berth, it's a success. It's a success.
I think that he's set up very well. I think that he has put a great staff around him. The ACC, I'm not saying the ACC is weak, but it's vulnerable.
It is.
It's vulnerable because he comes in a year where Sam Howell's leaving, so North Carolina quarterback situation's up in the air.
The new head coaches in his side of the conference.
Yeah, I think Tony Elliott's a fraud. I don't think he's going to have success for Virginia. I just want to say he's a fraud because he's a good coach. Virginia is not going to be good at football. Not. Who did Virginia Tech hire?
Brent Pry.
State defensive coordinator.
Brent Pry.
Yeah, so the verdict's out on that.
And Pittsburgh just lost Pittsburgh had their best team ever, and you saw what happened.
Yeah, that's gone. Florida State, Mike Norvell is not really a great football coach. It doesn't seem like.
They can get NIL deals for their players, like they're.
I'm going to tell you. Dabo Swinney is a good football coach.
Yep.
He is losing his swagger because there's a huge difference between Dabo and Nick Saban. Nick Saban has always conformed with the game. He learns how to grow with the game. Both Nick and Dabo, they both hate the portal. They hate NIL. But whereas you have Dabo who refuses to use it, won't use it, Saban's not stupid. He's going to use it better than anybody. Just because he hates something doesn't mean he's not going to take advantage of it. Well, Dabo sits here and whines and pisses and moans and won't use the transfer portal. And it's going to burn him. And it already did last year, and it's going to continue to do it. And players aren't going to want to go play for a coach who whines and pisses and moans like he does. And I think that's going to be the biggest thing. I think they're going to have a year this year similar to what they've had last year, because they're not elite. They don't have that stud. And I think that Swinney might have just bottled fire a couple of years with Deshaun Watson and Trevor Lawrence back to back like he did as well. Those are 2 generational talents at quarterback.
Yep.
He doesn't have that right now. He doesn't have that.
I think Mario is about in the same boat as Lincoln. Florida produces a shit ton of talent.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Florida, Billy Napier, they're hurting right now. Florida State, they're non-existent basically. I mean, they have that whole state down there to pick and choose talent as they should.
Yeah.
Well, year one, like Tyler said, they have talent. Like there's talent on that team ready. Somehow, Manny Diaz got James Williams to come play for him the year before last.
Never in a million years did I think that would happen. And that will arguably go down as his best signing
Oh
and
yeah,
he's going to be our best defensive player this year.
yeah.
Okay.
He's a stud. He's a
Round
stud.
one, like the fact that he chose us over Georgia made zero sense. But
Yeah,
uh,
James Williams is a stud. Tyler Van Dyke, I'm not sold on him, but I do think he's a good quarterback.
yeah.
There's a healthy amount of running backs and receivers on the team. I think Mario is set up to succeed year one, and if he can build on that, there's no telling what he can do in Miami.
I'm serious. Like year one, and I don't really think it's unrealistic, but I'm going to knock it down because I don't want to get my hopes up. But how I see this year going, we played Clemson and A&M. Both of those games are on the road. I think those are the two games we lose for sure. In my opinion, looking at the rest of our schedule, I don't think we should lose another one. But if we lose one, it's probably to like Virginia for some reason always gives us problems. So it's going to be something like that.
I'm not sold they lose those games, man. I'm really not.
Yeah,
I mean, both those teams you're talking about, their quarterback situation is so in the air.
The reason why I just go ahead and mark those as losses for me is just because I'm a Miami fan and I want to be realistic for once, because the last 3 years I've looked at our schedule and be like, there's no way we shouldn't be in the ACC championship. We go 7-6, we go 6-6, we lose to FIU and Louisiana Tech in 1 year.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You not only do you lose at FIU, you lose where the Orange Bowl used to be at. Like that's the worst loss in history program. Then the next year you do some things with Porter, whatever, but how much of that was a COVID year? And you know what I'm saying? And then you have the same team. And this is what made me out. It was by week 3 or whatever, when you blew the game to Michigan State. You were up 14-0. Your tight end drops a wide open touchdown, would have been up 21-0. Instead, 4th down, they miss a field goal. Michigan State gets all the momentum. De'Aaron King eventually gets hurt that game. And there you go. And so you put all your chips in on a De'Aaron King. So that's kind of what you get. That's kind of what you get, you know. And I drank the Kool-Aid for sure. But you lose to the guy who had the most unorthodox throwing motion I ever seen yet, but was like top 5 in passing, and Brennan Armstrong. Like, you lost to Florida State, who it hasn't had a winning season since 2017, I think. Or 2018, one of those years. So that was rough, but I do think as far as the talent returning and setup, the thing that gets me most excited about this Miami team, I even told my dad this. I said, I don't care if we go 6-6. Yeah, I know we don't want to go 6-6. We will not kill ourselves. We will not beat ourselves. Teams will have to beat us. We will be a very disciplined team, which Miami has lacked for years and years. And this team, I would like to say they won't quit, but we saw what happened with Oregon this past year. So who knows about that? But I think it was because Mario was already out the door. But I don't think they'll quit. And 2, like Jake said, the ACC is very vulnerable. This is the reason why I have like a 10-2. It's very reasonable. Duke, all these people are on our side of conference. Duke, new head coach. Virginia Tech, new head coach. Virginia, new coach. Pittsburgh lost everybody except the receiver, Jordan Addison. Like, Georgia Tech, Jeff Collins, they'll compete, but you know, that's it. That's basically our conference, our side of the conference.
Jeff Collins is on the way out, and I had really high hopes for Jeff Collins, but I mean, with him getting Jeff Sims and Jahmyr Gibbs, he should have been able to win games with that.
Oh yeah,
those are 2 very, very talented players.
And you got to think about what Mario's already done in the portal. He got Frank Latson, big body receiver from Clemson. He got some edge rushers, one from USC and Jake Lichtenstein, which he's all right. But he got, I think his name is Agade or whatever from UCLA, another edge rusher. UCLA is one of their best linebackers. It was in Coral Gables today. I think his name is Mitchell Johnson or something like that. And then this weekend, you have Mims in Miami from literally Thursday to Sunday.
Yeah. He's probably going to get him simply because he can't transfer to the SEC and play next year because of the date.
It's because of Florida State, and I think we're a little bit more appetizing than Florida State. And then another thing, I don't know if you've seen what happened, but Miami's quarterback just signed an NIL deal with BMW, one of their players just signed two of our players just signed a NIL deal with Dodge for the new Chargers. You're getting paid. This is what Miami was under investigation for, but American Top Gym, if you're a scholarship player, you automatically get $5,000. Like,
oh yeah,
yeah.
So NIL is going to help them a lot, and Mario is one of those guys that's accepted that, and they're accepting it not like a Dabo or whatever. And I mean, I think this was a home run hire because first of all, they did it. They actually proved that they cared. You know, whether it pays off or not, it's yet to be determined. But the fact that they say, hey, we let our nuts hang, we're going to go steal a top 10 coach, because at the time he's a top 10 coach, and we're going to try to contend. And this is the best position staff I've ever seen at Miami in my life, ever. I mean, you got the guy who just won the top assistant of the year and Josh Gaddis. You got great recruiters all around. You got Kevin Steele, which he's proved himself in the SEC. You stole a guy from Georgia, Adai, I think his name is.
Yeah.
I'm not big on our defensive line coach, but that's okay. But you get Charlie Strong as a linebacker coach.
Yeah.
Like, that staff is
it's a very impressive staff. I think the biggest aid that Cristobal has is, dude, you talking about fair weather friends and fair weather fans, dude. Miami, there's still people that are my age, your age,
yep,
a little bit older, that when their teams are bad, we all have a little bit of Miami fan in us. We all enjoyed the early 2000s Miami football. Yep. Everyone did. There's not anyone that didn't, besides maybe Ohio State fans, and who fucking likes Ohio State fans?
Yeah, absolutely nobody.
Absolutely fucking no one. So, I mean, everyone's just sitting. Everybody wants Miami to be good at football. It's just that simple. I want Miami to be good at football. Everybody wants Miami to be good at football. And you have everybody just sitting here waiting, and that fan base is going to grow. Even the younger kids that don't even know what 2000s Miami football was, they have all the 30 for 30s on ESPN to sit there and watch. They've watched them. They know. I mean, it's just Miami is set for success. I just feel like they are literally pointed and aimed at success, and it's right now it's going to be hard for them to fail, and they made the perfect hire.
The thing about that is I fall into that category, which I think probably gives me a little bit more props, is like, I was 3 years old when that 2001 Miami team was dominating college football. Like, I don't have any visual recollection. I only have the 30 for 30s and all that stuff. And I've stuck with them. And I've seen some ugly. And I think I can speak for all Miami fans when we say that. We're just happy that we tried, that we're at least trying. Because that was the thing. We wouldn't try because this hire could have been made before you hired Manny Diaz. But what they did was what Notre Dame did. They didn't even interview anyone else. They just promoted in-house because Manny Diaz left for Temple, and they were like, oh, he's been the success of our defense. Let's just go ahead and promote him. Like, because and that's why I'm skeptical about Marcus Freeman, because we didn't want to lose recruits that we had. Yeah. And that's why I'm skeptical, because I've seen it firsthand. You've probably seen it firsthand too, Justin. Like,
oh yeah.
So like, like I said, Mario, out of all these coaches, probably is set up to have the most success. Now, will it mean national championships? Yet to be determined. But far as the conference he's in, the brand, the financial back end, because we talked about before, the facilities, all that stuff matters. You build a quality facility, that automatically boosts you up even more.
Mm-hmm.
And plus, you got to think about, you can go to down Miami, beautiful weather, beautiful women, and make $80,000 on an NIL deal. It's going to be hard to turn away.
Yeah.
It's a game changer. The NIL is definitely a game changer, and Miami's definitely got the ability to change the game. Like I said, I mean, they're right there with SEC schools in the way they have the ability to change the game. And I don't know that there's a lot of ACC schools that have that ability as well. North Carolina has money, but that's basketball money. Yeah. Florida State does not have money. They're broke. They're broke.
Did y'all see what they're doing? Because so Mims, obviously, he's visiting Florida State on the way down, but like it's a day visit or whatever. But they're raising money through, like, it was the most high school stuff I've ever seen. They're selling candy bars to raise money.
Oh, I think I've seen something on Twitter about that.
it's pretty sad, but like this is why Florida State, if you hear me, I know I'm a Miami fan, so you could tell me to fuck off, whatever. I'm telling you how it is.
Yeah.
The reason why Jimbo Fisher left was because y'all were broke.
Yeah,
No
that's
money.
Y'all
why.
were broke. Y'all
Yeah,
didn't. He would have. I promise you, if y'all would have gave him the right financial backing, he would have stayed. You know,
you
you
can't
know
tell
who
me.
pulled up with a bunch of money? Texas A&M, proper financial backing. Look what they're doing now.
Mm-hmm.
They make Saban. You can't tell me there was any other reason he left. He won a national championship there.
Yeah.
And then just up and leaves.
He was Clemson. He was Clemson before Clemson. Like, if Dabo Swinney, you need to thank Jimbo Fisher for building your dynasty.
Yeah, because literally he couldn't beat Jimbo for a hot while.
No.
And like I said, he just walks away and goes to A&M, who at the time was struggling. I mean, one of the worst teams in the West before they fire someone. And Jimbo just says, okay, I'm out. I'm gonna roll to the SEC, the West, but the toughest division in football still, and has been for the last 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
There's no other reason besides he saw the writing on the wall that as the game was growing and going to the direction it was, Florida State had no potential to be competitive and do the things they had to do. And you see it. And that's why Mike Norvell might be a decent coach. I don't think he is, but he might be. But they don't have anything. They literally lost the number one recruit in the country who was committed for almost 2 years to Jackson State.
To the guy who was a legend at that school, who honestly, because I was like, at some point, like when I saw that, I was like, okay, at some point, Deion's going to go be the coach for Florida State. And then I started thinking about it, I said, he probably can make more money at Jackson State than Florida State, honestly. Like,
I don't think it's ever going to happen. I don't think so. Which I don't think Deion's a great coach. The talent that he has got at Jackson State, he should never lose a game against who they play. And they got blown out last year.
Mm-hmm.
They got blown out in the Celebration Bowl. I remember.
Yeah, against South Carolina State.
Yeah, because I remember watching. I was like, I want to see the hype. Like, I want to see these. And so that, I mean, good for Florida State. Like, that's what y'all deserve. Okay, y'all deserve that. Like, y'all had a great thing in front of y'all, and it was great while it lasted. But
are y'all wearing Adidas gear in Miami, or still?
We're still with Adidas, but I've heard rumors of maybe going back to Nike. I don't know how true it is, but
it needs to happen. You can look at the statistics. Players better in Nike gear. It's just that simple. I don't know what it is, but you can look at the statistics, and people don't win in Adidas gear.
And I like Miami. I like Adidas a little bit because that's what we had in high school. But the reason why Adidas is so popular in high school, they make it affordable for high schools to wear their gear.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of like Under Armour in a way. And because Under Armour is the only other brand besides the Nike/Jordan brand to be represented in the college football playoff. Adidas has yet to get there. And it probably won't get there. But I was seeing the practice stuff and whatever. It's like I went from watching Mario being dripped out and like, I like some of the Miami Adidas stuff. I'm like, dude, we need that Nike back. Like
the Nike drip is nuts, man.
Yeah.
Just go look at Tennessee. Tennessee is case in point. Dude, those Adidas jerseys and Adidas
horrible.
That was it was so ugly for so many years, man. It was like you could make fun of Tennessee fans for it.
Like I said, I like our Adidas stuff, but I know that we need Nike. I know that matters as well. And so, but I'm excited for Cristobal. Hurricanes, I could talk about them all day, but there's other teams to talk about as well.
Go ahead.
I need to say before, because he said it. This is why I think Nick Saban is the best coach of all time. Take his championships out the picture, okay? Look at the actual coach. He has adapted with every single time in football. When college football was power run heavy, Bama dominated. He was good at LSU with that. Started moving towards dual threat quarterbacks and RPOs and stuff like that. What does he do?
Jalen Hurts.
Like when Jalen Hurts came in, and then when you saw Tua and they were throwing the ball like 80% of the time, and Najee Harris, the reason why Najee Harris is so good is because he got so little touches compared to the rest of his running backs. Mm-hmm. You have Najee Harris in your backfield. We know how freakish athlete he is. To go from that to just RPO and throwing the ball to Mac Daddy Jones slinging tossing the tater a bit, and then Bryce Young Like there was times when I was watching Alabama where I'm like, run the football. But they're throwing it. They insisted on throwing it. He changed with the times, and to me, that's what signifies a good coach. If you can adapt, and that's why, as I used to be a big Dabo fan, that's why I agree with Fraker. I think Dabo. Bama fans were talking about him being the replacement for Saban. I don't think it's going to be Dabo anymore. I
don't think we want him. I don't think
no.
they want him.
Yeah, and so I think, especially with him not embracing the change in times, like that's his own stubbornness is going to lead to his demise.
I agree, and like I said, like you said, you could take the championships away, and I would, like I said, just the quality of football that Saban has given me as an Alabama fan, and just the atmosphere. If you just go sit in Bryant-Denny, man, just the atmosphere that is there now, and it's just because like there's no boring games. There is no head scratching. Why are we doing this? Because he is always 10 steps ahead of everything. He sees things before anybody else sees them and is rolling. He saw the game transforming and brought Lane Kiffin in to completely transform everything he thought about football. And
even was hard to work with too, guys. It was hard to work with.
And even they butted heads, but they were amazing together.
And it rejuvenated his career. He did the same thing with Steve Sarkisian. If Steve Sarkisian didn't go to Alabama, he would not be the head coach at Texas today.
No, not at all.
100%.
And so
I can't thank Saban enough for, like I said, for everything he's done for Alabama football. Like I said, you take the championships away. If we lost every national championship game we've ever played in, just because I grew up in the 90s and early 2000s as a kid, where we couldn't win. We hired a head coach and fired him before season started.
Yeah,
was rough.
My recollection of Alabama growing up before they went on this run was Tyron Prothro snapping his leg, Brody Crowell. Brody Crowell was awesome. And then literally Saban, I think he lost to ULM, and then the next year wins the national championship. Like it was such a quick turnaround. Like
and
people like to discredit that championship because Colt McCoy got hurt and they had to play Garrett Gilbert. Same result would have happened.
No, that's the most, to me, that's the most important national championship and probably the most impressive as a coaching standpoint, because his quarterback, people don't realize, Colt McCoy got hurt. Big deal. Our quarterback was Greg McElroy. Yeah. Ass. He threw for 23 yards in that national championship game. 23 yards from a quarterback won us a national championship. That is all on the coach. Yeah.
I mean, you're the best quarterback until y'all have had this run of Tua, Mac Jones, and Bryce Young was A.J. McCarron, and he was underrated.
Very, very underrated. So. But like I said, and honestly, luck and injuries probably cost Saban another 2 national championships, because you take this year, we're playing a second half of a national championship game without 2,500, receiving yards on the field. You got Bryce Young throwing a freshman he only throws to in practice from time to time.
And I blame turf fields for that.
I blame turf fields. I don't think anybody's got any business playing on turf fields.
Yeah. At all. I get why they do it, though. I get why there's turf fields, but those big games shouldn't be.
Shouldn't be.
I mean, because look at what Arizona does, though. Arizona, they play indoors, but they have that field. They have natural grass in there.
Yeah, so does Las Vegas. But the reason why I get that was they were playing in the Colts Stadium, so that makes sense. But the reason why turf fields are a thing is because they're easy to upkeep for these smaller programs. Like Tennessee Tech, I live here in Cookeville still, I'm about to move, but even UTC, they all have turf fields because it's hard to keep up with natural grass. And if you're not at Alabama or you're not a Georgia, you're not one of those programs, like you're Cincinnati, cold weather areas, like you have no choice but turf. But I agree. Big games, please, guys, no more turf fields. Like that was such a deflating moment in a game, because they couldn't guard Jameson Williams in the SEC championship game, and they wasn't going to be able to guard him in the national championship game.
No, that game. I mean, you can call me. I mean, I'm biased, but I'm telling you that's another national championship for Saban if we just have Jameson. And mind you, John Mechie got taken out of the SEC championship game the same way. He on their field blows his knee out. I mean, and it's but it is what it is. That's the game. Hats off to Georgia for getting him one.
Yeah, I give credit to Stetson Bennett. He made some of the best plays of his life.
Yeah, I mean, and you have to go back to the Joe Burrow year. Joe Burrow year. Don't forget that amazing team only beat Alabama by a touchdown.
Yeah.
I mean, and Thad Moss was out of bounds. It wasn't a kick. But and then Tua goes down. Mac, it's his first start against Auburn. Doesn't pull it off. If he beats Auburn, we're back in the playoff. And I don't know that LSU beats us a second time if we play them. I really don't. Even that's a great team. That was a great Alabama team.
Yeah,
So I
because
mean,
in the situation Georgia Bama again, like they put them in. So yeah,
It's hard to beat a team twice in a year like that.
it's very hard to beat a team twice. So I said, just the things that Saban has done. I said he's great. The championships is great, but go look at dude. He's so close to like 3 more. You got that one. You got this year's. You got the year LSU won, and then the year we lost to Clemson in the national championship, the Deshaun Watson year. I mean, you're one play going a different way from another one. I mean, just I hate to go on and on about Saban, but I don't think we'll ever see a run and a dominance like that.
Well, that and all the turnover and coaches he has too. I mean, every year.
Yeah, I mean, every year he loses at least 3.
I think that's one of the reasons I think he's one of the greatest coaches.
Yeah.
Is because of all the turnover.
You got to think about who all's coaches now: Lane Kiffin, Bama; Mario Cristobal, Bama; Billy Napier, Bama;
Mel Tucker,
Kirby Smart, Bama; Mel Tucker. You can go on. Jimbo Fisher.
Yeah.
Not at Bama, but he was with them. You know what I'm saying? Will Muschamp was with him. I mean, the list goes on and on.
Your staff in Miami: Josh Gaddis, Charlie Strong, Kevin Steele. I mean, it's nuts, man.
I mean, McElwain at one point he was under.
Yeah. I mean,
and so that's why you got to look at. That's why it excites me about Mario's trying to build an SEC quality program in the ACC, and if he gets that, it could easily to see like what Clemson was able to do for a little bit.
I mean, Mario was loved in Tuscaloosa. I'll tell you, as Alabama, we love Mario. We didn't.
I would take him over Dabo probably.
Oh yeah, 100%. I personally think Pete Golding's our next head coach. If it's not Lane, I mean,
you like Pete Golding?
He's learning. He come from University of Texas San Antonio.
Okay, you say the Roadrunners meet me.
Yes, sir, Roadrunners.
Yeah, BB. So I mean, obviously Saban saw a lot in him to bring him from there to DC. So he obviously saw a lot in him, and so I really think that he's molding him. If it doesn't, I think we see. I mean, maybe Lane Kiffin, but we're talking about 8. Saban says he's got 8 more years in.
Yeah, we're talking down the line because I liked to hear you say that because all my friends in my area where I'm from, Jasper, Tennessee, all my close friends are Alabama fans, and they hate him. Like they want him fired so bad, and yeah. And you're one of the first Bama fans I've ever heard talk at least that highly of him. Like you said, you're still on him, but like you said, you got to trust Saban. He obviously saw something in the guy.
Yeah, so. Saban is the gospel, and obviously he's kept him around. People are like, oh well, he struggled. He's not struggling. Look at SEC offenses. There is no more holding teams to 6 points. It's not happening, and that's just people just have to get used to that. That yes, Kirby was amazing, but Kirby is one of one. You understand? Kirby's defenses are Kirby's defenses. They'll always be like that. But you're just not going to hire DCs every day that can do that. It's not going to happen. And I do think that is Saban's strategy. It was originally Sark. There's plenty. They sat down. They said he wanted Sark to be, the heir apparent, but he was, going to have to wait 8 years. And Sark was like, no, I'm not going to do that. And it's probably smart in his situation because if we ever did decline before Saban bowed out, then they're probably all getting fired.
Yeah.
And so I mean, I don't blame Sark for going to Texas and getting that money, big program. But I do think I would not be surprised if Pete Golden in 8 years as head coach of Alabama.
Yeah. But enough of the Alabama talk. I definitely want to get into some Tennessee talk real quick because that's the one thing that we have not talked about. And our host is a Tennessee fan. So Justin, my question to you, what are expectations for the Vols now that you aren't putting money in McDonald's bags, but you're giving guys $8 million or whatever? What's your expectations?
I don't really think
Nico though. Hey, that's a huge hit because the thing I will say before I give you the floor, talent is always attracted to great quarterback play. You have a great quarterback, you're going to be able to get some other good players as well. So getting him is huge on many other levels besides just quarterback. Like, expect more big names to go there, but I'll give you the floor.
Yeah. I don't know. I just stay quiet because you know how Tennessee fans are. Every year, this.
We're the same.
I'm just waiting for it to produce.
Yeah.
But no, getting Nico, like you said, when you get a very highly talented quarterback that can go out and he starts talking to other guys and they get them to come, like Cornell Tate.
Yep.
He's kind of trending. I think they still have Ohio State one right now.
I think he's of all.
I think he is too. I think he is too.
I think getting him, but really getting Jack Luttrell really kind of kick-started it.
Dude, Jack is the guy. Dude, like I understand Nico is he's a big name, but Jack Luttrell on the 7-on-7 scene and the social media scene for
he's balling.
Athletes, everybody wants to play with Jack. He's probably one of the coldest white safeties I've ever seen play at the high school level. And like I said, he's just he draws. He's going to be able to bring players in, and he wants to. That's what's awesome. I love seeing high school players that are coming in, like you said, and they want to bring others with them. They're not scared of competition. They're not scared of they don't. Oh, I want to be the alpha dog. No, if you want to enjoy college, bring people with you. The only reason Najee Harris
doing in Miami. That's what they're doing in Miami right now.
The reason Najee Harris come to Alabama was because of Tua. They were leaving the All-Star game, the All-American game, and Tua said, "Hop on the plane with me. Let's go to Tuscaloosa," because Najee was headed to Michigan. He said it himself. Yeah. So I mean that is so key. And you look at what that one decision did for us. I mean, look at what Najee Harris did for us, and that's one player. People say one player can't change a team. No, I'm telling you, Nico can come in and change.
And I think what a big thing with Nico too was seeing the transformation Hendon Hooker made coming in last year and what Heupel can do with quarterbacks. I think Hooker having a hell of a year like he did last year boosted that even more. And then you have Nico coming in, Jack, and I mean, if we can get Tate, there was another wide receiver. I cannot think of his name. There was 4 or 5 of them that came on recruiting last weekend. And dude, I don't know. I think if we get Tate, I think that kickstarts a class for 2023 and up, and it's going to be nasty.
And I give props to Heupel because ACC boy here, Hendon Hooker, that he literally is not the quarterback that I saw at Virginia Tech. Like
he's not the quarterback that he was in the UT spring game.
No, he wasn't. Like the thing that I saw I'm like, at one point I started like, did Hendon Hooker like switch bodies with somebody? Like, because oh my gosh, man! Like, so props to Heupel on that. So I think that's a big point right there. What you said, Justin, about what he's done with quarterbacks.
Yeah, for sure. And that's very appealing to recruits, is somebody like you said that can make a quarterback stand out like he did. I mean, he completely transformed Hendon Hooker's career. He does that again. I mean, he's getting drafted, and he was not getting drafted coming out of Virginia Tech. It wasn't happening. So I mean, I'm dude, as a Alabama fan that lives in Tennessee, that lives in the city that Philip Fulmer played football. I played at the same high school as Philip Fulmer. I hate Tennessee football. I can't stand it. I hate the color orange. I won't wear it. With that being said, I'm excited to see Tennessee football be good, because it has been a very long time. It has been some rough years watching the Dooley and Pruitt. Butch Jones was fun at times to watch, because for me, I was coming out of high school at that time, and actually got to watch a lot of people that I played against play at Tennessee, and it was pretty cool, and they were pretty good at times. Butch just couldn't reel it in. But I think that what Josh has going for him is not like any of those, because he won games this year, and he had patchwork. He patched together teams. That defense was atrocious, but his just coaching, his play calling, and him was able to win the games that he was and go to a bowl game, and that alone is fairly impressive.
Yeah,
and another guy I'm excited to see is Justin Williams. He's been heavy on some guys too, trying to get people to come. Running back we got, and I saw a picture of him the other day, and dude is jacked.
Yeah, he is swole. I I can think they got some good recruits this year. I was kind of sleeping on it and talking shit in our little group message just because it's full of Tennessee fans. But I think a lot of those guys are kind of slept on and have a lot of potential, especially like a boy like Squirrel White.
For a while, yeah,
He's slept on, but that's a fast little dude,
he is.
and that's dangerous in Josh Heupel's offense. It's so dangerous. Like you see it in Alabama, what happens when you can't play two deep safeties because you have to respect everything. You have to respect the run. You can't play two deep safeties. Fast receivers can get off like Elvin. Well, what you're going to have is, for one, Hendon Hooker can run. Are going to have a run game this year with a handful of running backs, and you've got fast receivers that can get some going. I mean, you can't, if you take away being able to play two deep safeties away from teams, you're going to kill them. I mean, it's just that simple.
Especially and Cedric Tillman. I mean,
yeah, and if
teams
teams
can go up and get the ball.
Yeah, and if teams want to be scared of Cedric Tillman and the passing game, and they want to play two deep safeties all game long, guess what? Tennessee is going to have the ability to run the ball this year, and they're going to run the ball, and it's going to work. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, the thing about Tennessee is I'm not a Tennessee fan. I'm a Miami fan in Tennessee. I hate Tennessee's orange. I think Miami's orange is the better orange. With that being said, I have watched so many Tennessee games because of the area we're in, friends, Tennessee fans, and very loyal bunch, very rambunctious bunch. But I get, like, if you want to know how you get me going in football, is you're scoring points and scoring in flashy ways. Tennessee football was, as a better, absolutely electric. I love turning the channel in. I'm like you got to think about it. Tennessee put more points in the first half against Georgia than Georgia was averaging up until that point, like, allowed. That was great. The way they just jumped out on Kentucky was absolutely beautiful. And the fact that we were getting Tennessee as underdogs was even better. Love that. But they play, like, bringing that style of football to the SEC, to me, like, is super duper fun. Like, it's fun to see, because for years, a lot of people, the reason why they liked SEC football was because they were old fashioned. Like, they liked the grit and grind. And don't believe me, there's still that in the SEC. Don't get me wrong. But just to see someone, it was fresh, it was new, it was young, and to transform Hendon Hooker was absolutely great. And I think Tennessee being good would be good for college football as a whole, because you need to have somebody to give Georgia competition. And and Tennessee, you got to be licking your chops. You got to think where the SEC East is right now before Oklahoma, and you got Georgia, Florida. Florida's a right. Nobody at all, because Vanderbilt's not going to be there. Tennessee, despite their record, I know Kentucky had the better record, quote unquote, but they were the second best team in SEC East. It's just Tennessee wasn't able to, and this is the issue with running. This is ultimately kind of your fall from grace. When you run an offense like that, it doesn't matter what kind of defense you run. You're just going to always put your defense out there because you're going to score quick and stuff like that.
You're going to have to find some defensive depth.
Yeah. If you're going to want to run that kind of offense, depth would be absolutely huge, because you look at the years, and I know we always go back to this, but you got to look at the standard. You look at the years Bama didn't win the national championship, or they were close to it, those years they didn't have the depth that they usually had.
And they had injuries and depth usually bit us in the ass. And we usually had an offense that was churning out points. Yeah. Like you said, when you have an offense that's churning out points, you don't have to have a just stifling defense. You've got to have a defense that can create turnovers.
Yeah.
You can allow yards. That's okay, but
everybody's going to be able to move the ball up and down the field. It's a matter of what you do, red zone defense, and if you can create turnovers. You take that style play offense, and just think about this, because this is what we did in high school football at Marion County when we were going to state championships. We would be explosive offense, no up tempo, no huddle. Them boys from Grundy County and Cowan they were sucking air. And then we had defenses that create turnover. So next thing you know, we score quick. We first a turnover, score off that turnover. You're down 14-0 before you even caught your breath. Okay. So Tennessee can get because they should be able to capitalize on that. if Tennessee can get where they're causing turnovers, then go around and turn around and score, next thing you know, you could have a 21 point lead and the game essentially be over at that point.
Hey, put some respect on Cowan. Cowan boys don't play.
Cowboys they're tough.
We play in Franklin County. We don't play in Grundy. We don't do all that. But yeah, I agree. You take that offense that he's building. And you can force 2-3 turnovers. 2-3 turnovers. You don't have to have a stop on defense. If you can just force 2 or 3 turnovers, you can win games.
Mm-hmm.
You can win almost all games if you can continue to do that. You just have to force turnovers. And I think Josh sees that. I think you can see what he focused on. He focused on in recruiting. Pass rush, edge. He went and got some corners and some safeties. I think that he sees what it takes. Because linebackers are huge. Linebackers are huge in Kirby Smart's scheme, dominating linebackers. That's awesome. But they don't always aren't the turnover forcers.
Mm-hmm.
If you can have some DBs, some safeties, and some pass rushers that can either cause fumbles, sacks, or interceptions, you can win ball games.
You look at the NFL. What positions go off the board first? Defensive end, corner, and safeties before linebacker.
Every time.
Always will, and it always will be with the way football is now. That will be that. So you beef up those positions.
Yeah, because literally, one of those positions can make 1 or 2 plays in a game, and it can change the entire game. I mean, it's that simple. It takes 1 or 2 plays. You bounce over to the NFL real quick. The Titans-Bengals game, 3 plays, 3 interceptions, change the game, complete game. That game had no business being Cincinnati's win, but 3 plays changed the entire outlook of the game. Safeties and corners.
Well,
or you look at the 49ers Packers game, defense and special teams. But my vision is one day for us to be able to hop on here and all 3 of our we know Bama, but me and you, Justin, finally have something to say.
I think it's very promising this year, man. I think Tennessee, you don't want to get crazy on them, but I think they have an ability to make a run in the East. I think you're going to see if Kirby can plug and play this year because he lost a lot. And I
saw a projection from somebody that showed Tennessee going 10-2. Obviously, 2 losses being Georgia, Alabama. I don't know. I think I don't want to get ahead of myself, but
it's not outlandish.
No, it's not. And I don't know what Georgia is going to be like this coming year. I mean, we have them at home. We got them away. But you might catch them slipping.
Yeah, I'm not sold on Georgia this year. For one, they're losing. They're starting 2 running backs. They're losing
a lot on that defense.
They're a lot on their defense, pretty much their entire receiving core. They're going to have, the 2 probably most athletic tight ends in football with Darnell Washington and Arik Gilbert. That's going to be polarized, and that's going to be nuts. But Stetson Bennett has had one amazing football game in his entire career, and it happened to be a national championship.
Yeah.
But
don't they also still have was it Bowers, or is he leaving?
They have Brock Bowers too.
But he's a stud.
Those 3 tight ends, I mean, that's insane.
They got Vandergriff as their other quarterback too. So
they have Brock Vandergriff. But the verdict's out on that. But I don't think I'm not a Stetson Bennett fan. I think that he's gonna have a claim to fame. He's gonna be a national championship quarterback forever. But he was gifted a perfect scenario, gifted Alabama struggles. Because you go look at any other game, that man can throw the ball. That man can throw the ball to open receivers, and that's it. That's it. He had some great throws in that championship game.
Yeah,
he caught fire.
You look at his 2 games against Alabama before the national championship game.
Terrible.
It was a deer in headlights.
Yeah.
It was a deer in headlights, and I mean, I think Georgia. I still think they'll probably end up winning the SEC East, but I don't think they're competing for a national championship this year.
I mean, I'm telling you, I really think that they can lose it this year. It's crazy to say, but I really think that the Tennessee has them in their sights. I mean, I don't think any other team does, but I really think.
Like to see, hey, Justin, if both of our teams make the conference championship this year, I might as well.
You better block me.
Yeah,
Fraker,
block me on
no.
Twitter.
Hey, we've always
block-
said if we met Alabama in the SEC championship and won,
Yeah.
Fraker said he was blocking us. We wouldn't be friends for the week. I mean, you got to give us a week at least.
Dude,
I don't know that Tennessee can ever beat Saban. They've had every chance. I mean, hell, he had us dead to rights in 09, and Terrence Cody. God reached Terrence Cody's head and then stretched it out. He said, "It's right."
His helmet off. Took his helmet off. That was probably. I remember that. That was
But you're talking about good for college football, good for the conference, dude. Dude, a Tennessee Alabama SEC championship game.
That'd be fireworks.
That would be.
They would make the most money. That SEC championship would make the most money it's ever made. Because Tennessee fans they're so hungry.
Yeah,
and that's the thing about Tennessee fans that I give them their credit when credit is due. I mean, I like to poke fun at them, make fun of them, whatever. Tennessee, Miami, pretty much the same program right now. Anyways, they travel so well. Like I watched that the basketball game, and they had more Tennessee fans than they did Michigan fans. I mean, they travel well, so the SEC ideally kind of wants that to happen at some point. It has to.
I think, like I said, the talent level with Georgia is still in Tennessee is not close. I mean, it's not. It's not close at probably any position. I'm just going to be honest. Besides one, the one that matters the most. If you give me Hendon Hooker, Stetson Bennett, I'm going to take Hendon Hooker 10 out of 10 times. And I'm not sold on Georgia's offensive coordinator. Yes, I mean they have weapons. Yes, I think Brock Bowers, like I said, that's going to be a problem. But I think that Tennessee can move the ball. I think Hendon Hooker can move the ball. When he played Georgia last year, he was really just getting the start. He was really just getting a feel. They didn't play Hendon Hooker like when Alabama played Hendon Hooker, because he was rolling. Yeah. I think
actually Georgia played Tennessee in November, so he already played Bama at that point. But I think at that point he was already banged up.
No, Tennessee always plays Georgia before Alabama.
Not this past year.
We moved him to November.
I promise you this
really?
year.
Yeah.
And I'm not even a Tennessee fan. I just remember telling Tennessee fans the fact that y'all get Georgia in November is a break, because y'all would always get Florida, Georgia, Bama, like kind of in that order.
Yeah, I didn't notice that because I guess I'm just so used to it.
It was different. It was different for sure. But yeah, because they played Bama.
This was the first year we did it.
Yeah.
But I like I said, just break down. Let's really break down Tennessee's schedule. Y'all get the easy out of conference games early. You have Pitt. They don't have Kenny Pickett anymore. They're bringing in Keaton Slovis from USC.
And I'll tell you, if Hendon Hooker would have started against Pitt, we win the game.
I agree.
Yeah, because Pitt's corners were getting burnt the whole. Because you saw what Miami did to Pitt's corners. I mean, with Van Dyke.
Yeah.
At Pittsburgh,
Yeah, I really think so. I really think this year, I think y'all can beat Pitt. You have Florida early, so really, Bill Napier is already going to be struggling, and then you get him early because they have talent, but I think they're not going to be playing together.
Then we got LSU.
You're looking at Alabama coming into Neyland Stadium with an undefeated Tennessee team.
Very possible.
Very possible, and that is dangerous. It hasn't been before. Well, we haven't.
And you know how Neyland gets.
And Neyland,
place is loud.
Place is loud. And I'm going to tell you honest, I like Bryce Young, but he really struggled at Cal Field last year. You know why he struggled? Because it was loud. It was really loud, and he struggled. So I'm just saying, I will be sick. I will be sick. I probably wouldn't go to work the next Monday. But I'm telling you, if that happens, that is Alabama better be ready. I know Saban's ready. I know he's there. He knows it's possible. But I think 10-2. I want to say it should happen, but it should. I mean, there's no reason besides hiccups and mistakes for y'all not to go 10-2 at the least.
I would agree.
I would like to see.
Y'all want to wrap this up for the night? Pick up.
Yeah.
Try to pick up on Sunday evening.
This Sunday or
I mean, it don't matter.
Well,
whatever
Sunday's
works
Easter. Probably if it's Sunday evening, it will probably be around the same time right now, like 7, 8 o'clock. Because
Sunday night.
I'll be traveling back. what I was going to say is before we get off here, like we all need to get together this year and watch a game for sure.
Oh,
man,
100%.
Justin's got an ultimate place to watch games.
Yeah, you're in Chattanooga, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
you're literally 25, 30 minutes away from me because I'll be living in Jasper, and I depending on the job I get, but most likely I will not be working Saturday. So definitely have a boys' night, have some brews, and just watch football all day.
You know, I'm in the opposite direction. I'm in Cowan, Deckard area, so I'm not far from Jasper either.
Yeah.
So,
No, I don't know. We might go over to that Frederick household and have him cook us up some damn ribs and wings.
Yeah, I want some ribs for sure. I love ribs. I haven't had good ribs in a while.
Well, we've got them over here on Floyd.
We could we'll definitely get something cooked up.
Yeah, we'll definitely get to do it because I haven't met y'all in person. It's just all Twitter.
Yeah, no, we'll definitely do it. We got a Snapchat group. We got to add you to too. It's pretty eventful group.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
all times of the day.
I tell you one thing, my skin has been made tougher being in just a Twitter group. So
yeah,
oh, it's fun.
You have to be with them.
Yeah, it has to be. But hey, it's worked out well because for once in my life, I was right about something, and that was Mario Cristobal would be a head coach at the U. When people told me it's a fever dream.
There you go. All right, any last words?
Go Canes.
I knew that was coming.
Yeah.
Check out. So we're sponsoring. We got a sponsorship out this year. Hopefully, we might be able to continue it. Our buddy Tyler Harrison getting back into racing. Hopefully, here in the next couple of weeks. He's got a new paint. He's got a new wrap on the car. Got us a sponsorship on there. So follow him, Harrison Fabrication. You can get him on Facebook, everything, and you can keep updated. I imagine he'll put his race schedule out and where he's going to race.
Yeah, we tried to get on the windshield, but he wasn't going.
He wouldn't go for that.
We got on the hood.
Yeah.
It's all matters.
No, man, it's fun. Yeah, we made a YouTube channel. We're going to try to do some stuff on it. You know, interact a little more, do some cool things. So,
if you have a business or something you want to sponsor us, well, no free shout outs.
No free shout outs.
But we'll plug you. We'll talk about you. We'll eat your food, drink your beer, whatever.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah.
I mean,
100%.
Don't miss out on an opportunity. This is about to take off like a rocket.
You better hop on now while it's cheap.
Hey, hop on while you can, because let me tell you something. If anyone's going to come at you with the hot takes, it's going to be Jake Fraker.
I'm a peacock. You got to let me fly. If you don't get on here early, you're going to miss out because I'm cheap right now, but I won't be cheap for long.
Mm-mm. No, before too long, we're going to be kicking our feet back, and you're going to wish you were back here with us.
Dude, drinking pina coladas.
No,
pina coladas. I'm a domestic beer kind of guy, so
I'm a big light beer connoisseur. But every now and then, I got to cleanse the palate. Should let my fruity side show and get on.
I'm a big light beer guy too, but as you see in the background, I have took Endeavor in some wine. So
hey, that's when dude. Obviously I'm married now, so like my big thing is I'll get wild and go to the grocery store, but I don't go buy a bunch of groceries. I go buy like 10 bottles of wine and bring them home. He was like, what the hell? And I'm like, well, I don't know anything about wine, but if you buy all of them, bound to be one that's good.
At least one.
Yeah, and one of these are just a cheap Aldi wine, but these are the two back here. This one and this one are two of my favorite ones right here. If you don't like really, I don't know if you can see that.
And they sound a little empty. They look a little empty.
They are empty.
We're heavy on them.
Damn.
Hey, I drank the whole damn bottle. That's how it goes. But the thing about that wine, they're about $20, these two, and I feel comfortable paying that price. I don't really like a too sweet of a wine, so this one gets better as it's aerated. So you let it open it and you let it aerate for a while, and it gets better. And so
I'm learning. I'm a big expensive liquor connoisseur. So like I don't like basic liquor, but like I don't know if you ever heard of Long Branch. It's Matthew McConaughey's whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah,
I don't like classic Jack Daniels, but if you'll get into the Gentleman and the Single Barrel, those are solid.
I like Jack as well. I like I'm a tequila guy, but I'm
yes,
half Hispanic. I'm half Hispanic, so I mean.
Well, I'll tell you, I love tequila. I love tequila, but tequila don't love me.
I've ate enough refried beans and drank enough tequila. I'm part Hispanic at least.
I love tequila. I mean 1800 Don Julio.
I like Casamigos. Casamigos is good.
I haven't had that one. I'm trying that one next, and I'm going to try the Rocks tequila because I want to
support. Hey, that's the best tequila I've ever had.
No, Terramana is good.
You get the gold or silver?
Silver. I haven't had the gold yet.
I'm gonna get both. But I get a little bonus this Friday, so I'm gonna have a little extra change.
Yes,
so
sir.
I'm gonna
I tell you what, I'm not a big seltzer guy at all. I do not like seltzers whatsoever. But these Happy Dads, no free shout-outs. No free shout-outs.
I haven't seen them anywhere.
Oh no, they're check your liquor stores and stuff.
Okay.
Keep checking because they're in Tennessee now. And
yeah, I will shotgun. Happy Dad, if you're get on here, listen. I will shotgun 5 in a row. Sponsor us.
Dude,
I love shotgunning too. So
I'm making an offer right now.
Besides your Busch lattes and Michelob and stuff, dude, them Happy Dads, they just.
Busch Light Natural Light's the best beer ever made. It's not even close.
Yeah,
I'm a big Miller Light guy. That's mine.
Hey, I've been on a Miller kick.
I've been on a Miller kick, and it's good. It's a good change of pace. It's a little bit more flavor. So,
I love them 16-ounce twist offs.
Yeah. I tell you right now, my top 3 like domestic light beers. I'm with Fraker. Busch Light and Natty are up there, but I like Michelob Ultra, but I like Miller Light. But I'm one of those biased, like sentimental drinkers. So like it was the first beer I drank and I enjoyed, and I was like, that's why it's my number 1.
I grew up drinking Bud Light, and I couldn't drink it if I wanted to.
I hate it.
But no free shout outs. But let me tell you, if you're ever here in Winchester, there's this place called Camino Real. They have a gold margarita. It's probably the best. It's probably the best margarita you'll ever have.
I don't even think about it.
Yeah, it's great. Me and Justin, we really like them a lot.
I definitely will come hang out with y'all and get my drink on for sure. But because I need it. I'm going to a place where there's not many people to hang out with. They're all either married or they're not marrying anymore. So
you're going to be right in the middle of us. So
perfect. Yeah.
I got a spare bedroom. We like to drink. It can happen anytime, any weekend's a wide open weekend.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. It's cool. It's cool. This is the one beautiful thing about sports, guys. You can make friends with people on the internet because you share the same passion.
Yep.
Yeah. You don't even have to be for the same team.
No. I mean, look at obviously.
Yeah.
That's what I like about our podcast. When you look at podcasts, okay, you have your Tennessee fans podcast, you have your Alabama podcast, you have Miami. Like, we're coming at it with all the angles, baby. We got an ACC, SEC guy, and obviously these 2 guys right here. They put some time in other football knowledge as well. Maybe wrong. They were wrong about the ball, but hey, they will.
It's like I don't want to. Obviously, nothing against the people that we've podcasted with before. No, the Cover Forecast, and we're going to have a lot of Cover 4 listeners come check this out. It's nothing against the guys we had. They were great guys, and we enjoyed every bit of it. But I'm going to just be honest, it was too much Tennessee. It was a Tennessee talk show and me trying to plug Alabama from time to time. And it just wasn't working. It wasn't working. And it wasn't really that we decided to quit. It really fell apart just because of scheduling. And afterwards, it's just looking at it, it wasn't a recipe for success. I do feel like that, we might just be sitting here talking to ourselves and nobody fucking listens to us. But I
enjoy it.
I think we're worth listening to, and I think we have a recipe for success.
I mean, you looked at all the teams we talked about before we got to our own teams.
Yeah. And dude, I go through Twitter. I'll go to bed. I'll lay down. I'll go through Twitter for an hour. I'll tell you right now. You go through my Twitter DMs. I'm DMing everybody that covers Akron football, West Virginia, fucking anything. Just trying to get, whoever I can get on.
Dude, you get messages back. I message people, and I must not look friendly because they damn sure.
Dude, I've gotten like.
It's because you got Alabama in there. That's why.
Yeah, I tell you, I've gotten some pretty good people like Cole Kublik, Peter Burns, Jason Horowitz. I mean, I've got all kinds of people to message me back. It's just a matter of just trying to get some scheduling done. And a lot of these guys I've messaged during football season, so it's kind of hard. But dude, there's all kinds of.
There's no football going on. There's baseball and there's basketball and hockey.
I tell you, my next guest I'm getting on here, and y'all might not like it. I'm getting old Paul Feinbaum on here one day.
Yeah, honey, you get old Paul.
Oh, Paul.
Paul.
Yeah, I promise you.
Hey,
No.
I just got too much Bama in me.
Lord. All right, guys. Well, we'll try to pick this up hopefully Sunday night. Maybe talk a little NFL draft.
Yeah, NFL draft, because the draft is coming up pretty soon, and I don't
Dude,
think
that it'd be cool. It'd be pretty cool if we got this YouTube channel up. We do it something live while the draft's going on.
Yeah, that would for sure be.
I should be able to do it.
Possibly something. We'll try to work something out.
Yeah, we definitely need to talk NFL draft because they're smoke and mirrors with the Trayvon Walker or whatever his name is right now, all this stuff, and so, but also we could talk that, and then we could talk NFL draft, and pretty much other than that, what else there's talk. I mean, I'm an NBA fan. I know y'all don't care for it too much, so
I'm telling you, John Morant about to make Patrick Beverly look like a fool out there. But
I
anyways,
don't know, man. The Timberwolves are.
we can talk just a little bit of it. We can do like half of it draft, and then just quickly, just very brief, like okay, because
cool.
playoffs will be starting around that time. Who do we like go? Because obviously it looks like it's going to be Milwaukee and Phoenix again, but
Possibly,
Memphis can make a run. Memphis can make a run. I firmly
I'm on upset in the East so bad. I like the Timberwolves. I'm a low key Timberwolves fan. Anthony Edwards is a bad dude.
The fact that they got him to go to Georgia, man.
Yeah, I don't know. All right, we'll save that for next week or next show. All right, boys. Well, for Justin, Tyler, Jake, we'll see you Sunday night.
Kickstart my heart and start my ass.